times. This guy is mad. He's not human.
What's up, Scary Fam? We are back. I hope you're all having an awesome day. I'm having an awesome day. It feels great to be a horror fan. So you all today are going to be talking about what was possibly Michael's original story for David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy. We got a lot to talk about. But before we get started, definitely smash the like button because it definitely helps. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I drop a video like this. So to get into everything, we just ended off with David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy. And I'm gonna be honest, I like it. I really do enjoy David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy. And I seen the story that they were telling, they were trying to tell. And to be honest, when you lay all three of these films out, right, 2018 Kills and Ends, if you really focused on every detail, it seems like every film was trying to tell its own story in a way, if that makes sense. You got the town story, you got Michael's, and then you kind of got Laurie's. So I think when you sit here and think about it, I think it was something else that they wanted to do, and they just did not pursue it and push forward with this. I'm gonna tell you what I think it was. So in Kills, they were focusing on Michael going home a lot, him going home and some type of attachment to, him going home and his window upstairs. I think that was possibly something that was connected to Michael's story. They just didn't go forward with it because that's the vibes I was leaning towards, especially when I seen Halloween Kills. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but we see with Big John and Little John's death, you remember Little John comes upstairs and he's like, Michael, you've come home. And Michael, where is he? He's in the window. And he turns around and he, approaches him and he takes him out. Also, with Karen, remember Karen was outside after everything happened in the payback scene with the mob. She sees Kid Myers upstairs in the window. Now, that was a very dreamy situation. I'm not saying she was dreamy, it just felt dreamy. And she goes up there and actually sees adult Michael and he kills her. He pops up behind her and he stabs her out. And after he stabs her, he doesn't turn around and walk out the house. He steps into the window and we see his reflection. But before that, we seen a younger Michael, almost saying it's some type of connection, showing like some type of history connected with that window. Then in Halloween Kills, we see Lonnie in the car with Cameron and Allison. He brings up the fact that if you line up all of Michael's kills, they're kind of connected to him going straight home. Like it's like a route of him going straight home. And I was thinking, it was too strong in the trilogy for it to just be not something that was going to be connected to Michael's story. You know what I'm saying? It was just too in there. It was just too in there. So to get into it, I think originally it was going to be based off of that. Something with Michael being connected to his home a lot. I think it was going to possibly be something where we could have got Michael and Laurie's battle happening in the 78 house, the 78 house being demolished and us seeing it, because I think I would have liked that a little bit more, like them kind of saying it was just a connection thing with the house that kind of was his power that kept him going. I think not even just power, just something that connected with him that made him more powerful in a way. I even remember it was a theory out there with the mask after that scene with the mob. And Brackett's like, hey, Michael, happy Halloween. Everyone's entitled to one get scared. Michael picks up the mask and he becomes like this powerful force. He takes out the mob. People are like, it's the mask, the connection of the mask. And then in Halloween Kills before that with Allison and Cameron, we get Karen pitchforking Michael in the back. And she takes the mask from him. And he has free food right there. He has Allison sitting right there with a jacked up knee. Michael usually he clears his plate. He takes everyone out. But when that mask was took from him, he made sure to make it a point to go after Karen and get that mask back. Because it was definitely a connection there. It's his mask, And even with the podcasters, when, I want to say Aaron, he holds the mask, say something. And Michael, right after that, the podcasters don't even know that they actually fucked up. Michael is on their ass from that moment. He tracks him down and he gets the mask. It's a connection. So I was thinking like it had to be a bigger story with those two things. Even got the radio tower, they get that getting brought up. And I heard about that ending with Michael and Lori. It was a ending with Lori and Michael with the radio tower while Allison and Corey were battling or something like that. It was like a 2-on-2 battle, and I think they fought her death from the radio tower. But to get into it, I think it was something with the window. Yes, we know Michael wanted to go home. He wanted to go home after everything. But I think it was going to be more hands-on and involved with the house. It's not said out loud from the Blumhouse Productions or nothing like that, or David Gordon Green. But I'm telling you, I think it was something, because I just felt it. Even with Hawkins saying that he's just in the window and all of that, and just kind of explaining to Michael a little bit. He's a kid that's in a man's body. All of that meant something. Even Hawkins having his little moment with Michael, the flashback, and he missed the shot, and then he missed it in 2018, and then he didn't get his opportunity again at Halloween Ends. I just knew he was going to get that opportunity to finally shoot Michael, and kind of be that hero. He had a story with him, and Hawkins' partner even said it. He just sits in his room and he looks out the window, looking at Haddonfield where nothing ever. Bro, it was something with the window, and when you look down, you see Michael's footsteps right by the window, like he's looking out at something. But we kind of see in Halloween Kills, he was looking in at himself, in a reflection. So I think it was something where they wanted to dive in that, but they decided not to, because it was going to explain a lot. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe it was for the better, but I wanted to see what was going on with the window. It had to be something. I think Michael's story was just so much bigger originally in a trilogy. That was going to be the plan. His story was going to be more bigger and more in depth. I don't want to say it was going to be like Rob Zombie's, but I think it was going to be more of an understanding, because it was too many. It had their hands in too many pots, if that makes sense. Like the mask connection, the house, and if you think about it, the whole story for real, Dr. Zartane is the reason that this whole thing happened, to be honest. His obsession with the boogeyman, how he wanted them to reunite, like in 78, Laurie and Michael. You're Laurie Strode, and him bringing Michael. If you think about it, the whole time what Hawkins said was very true. It was never about Laurie. It was never about her. Dr. Zartane brought Michael on her property, and of course he sees, he remember Michael kind of looks a little bit and he sees the police car and everything, the cruiser. He knew where he was. He kind of knew where he was. So I think, yeah, if you think about it, that was the main thing. Dr. Zartane making them meet again and them reliving history. But in the whole reality of things in Haddonfield, when they were in the car, Hawkins and Dr. Zartane, Michael was going home. You remember he was walking by the gate. And if you look, I think it was people in the background walking, like leaving from trick or treating or something. Like, because when you see that gate when he's walking, he's like, I got eyes on him. He hits on Michael was by, bro. He wasn't bothering nobody as of now. He was just walking. So I think they were definitely trying to tell this bigger story with him being connected to the mask in the house. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it was just something shown. They were showing us that was very cool. Because even the Halloween Ends, if you look closely with that newspaper, the house was demolished, and I think it was just a bigger picture they were trying to tell, but I think they didn't just take that route because they probably didn't feel that, people will like it a lot. But, the house was demolished and everything, and that's what Mike was connected to. They were taking something away from him to see if that was the reason the evil kept coming back to Haddonfield, the Myers house, the history, the killings, the murders. Maybe that was the reason everything was still happening. So in ends, they took the house away. But I think they should have kind of pushed a little forward with the house connection at least. Maybe the mask is obviously connected to Michael. It's his sacred item that keeps him going, But the house I think would have been cool. Maybe have the final battle at the Myers house. Maybe have them demolished inside the house or something, like take out Michael like that. Especially if they were gonna crush him anyways from jump, crush him with a bulldozer or something. But I definitely think it was especially something with him looking out at the window at himself with the reflection. I think it was almost like trying to show a little bit of like the innocent side of Michael. Now, I'm not saying Michael's innocent, but you know what I mean? He's just looking at himself like, is he trying to find himself, in his, inside of himself, because we saw Karen see kid Michael looking out that same window. And then I remember seeing a deleted scene. I don't know where it was, either a deleted scene or a picture where Michael was sitting at that table that kind of replicated Judith's, mirror and everything. He was sitting at the table looking at himself in the mirror. So I wonder if it's something like that. And in a book they kind of touch on that, the evilness, the reflection, and how, the embodiment of evil, he was trying to contain it and shit like that. So I think that, the book explained a little bit with that, but it was definitely something with the window in the house, because it was just too present. It was too present. And especially what Hawkins saying, and then his partner saying Michael just stood there all the time and looked out the window. And then, Karen seeing him and going upstairs, and he's really there, and he kills her. Because if you think about it, it was definitely a big attachment with Michael in the window and just the house in general, because he was hurt, right? He was done for. He got his ass kicked by the mob. He was so connected to the house, he slid his way in the house with all the police outside, got upstairs and killed Karen, bro. He killed her, and he stepped in the window with all the cops still downstairs and everything. I remember joking, saying, bro, it's to the point in this film, Halloween Kills, it was like he killed anyone who stepped in that fucking window. Hawkins' partner took him out. Karen took him out. Little John wasn't in the window, but he was close enough, took him out. You know what I'm saying? I think it was just definitely something they were trying to tell, and they just did not push forward with it. But I would rather, probably kind of dove into it a little bit just to see what the details could have been. Because it was definitely pulling me in when Lonnie said that if you aim up all Michael's kills, it leads to his, home. And that's the saying. That's the saying of Halloween 78, the night he came home. So I think it was definitely going to be something with that, but it was so many ideas popping out. They just went with like that evil route, because I feel like this trilogy was based more on like evil. Evil dies tonight, and Corey, the evil and the darkness. But I feel like in Kills, it was like starting to branch off at the end towards this house connection. So at the end, I thought it was going to kind of be something with the house. I remember speculating, saying, man, it's going to be something they tear the house down. Michael's going to be very upset, or that the battle is going to happen inside the house. And I know they said originally they were going to keep this film going from Halloween Kills into November 1st. And Laurie was going to have this battle with Michael and stuff like that. And, they decided not to, because they realized that Laurie was very, much in pain. She was injured from her injuries. And like, in all reality, Michael would take her out ASAP because of her stomach and shit like that when she got stabbed. But it was a lot of things that were kind of like, I feel like they were aiming for it, but they pulled away. I guarantee you, hopefully in the future, they bring out the original plans. I'm feeling like this was an original plan connected to that house. Something with the ending of it being Bottom Myers' house. Because it was just too present, man. And I really do think that would have worked. Because if you think about it, everything started in this franchise from the Myers house. Since he was a little kid, going upstairs with the butcher knife, taking Judith out, and then standing out in front of the house. It would have been so full circle, because it was definitely a real smooth, low-key, not even motive, just a connection with him just being attached to his home. If you think about it, Michael's been locked up since he was a child, man. And then he gets out or whatever in 78, and he goes right back in there. So he never got to experience, just the outing of life. I'm not saying he cares because he's the boogeyman, but you know what I mean? He gets out in 78 or whatever, and he goes right back, and then he gets back out in 2018. So I think, even if you think about it like that, in 78, remember, he goes right back to his home. Remember, he's looking out at, Laurie and Tommy. She's going to drop the keys off at the Myers place. He's looking right out the door. So it all makes sense, to be honest. It's like a big story with Michael, for real, if you think about it. Just him being connected to his home, but people are like just in the way, if it makes sense. He just wants to go home. As simple as that, to be honest. He does kill, but I think that's the story that they originally were going to try to tell, because it's connected to 78. These films are based off 78, this timeline, so it makes sense. Michael, everything started in 78 with the house, and it could have ended in ends. I think that was the plan, but maybe they got too deep into it and they thought too much was going to be explained. I don't know, but I wanted to see that. I know they touched on it a little bit in the book about the evilness and the reflection through the window. I got to get into the book a little bit more. I can't remember what they were saying, but they were saying something about containing the boogeyman and stuff like that. But I definitely think it was something Michael was looking at, because when he steps into the window, he sees himself reflection. Maybe it was something where he was trying to, you know, figure out this image of this boogeyman, what was going on, you know. But I think if they would have went that route, it would have got too detailed when it came to Michael, so they just pulled back. Comment down below if you guys think I'm tripping or anything, and what do you all think about that reflection and just the house connection? Would you rather had that house connection going on with Michael and him just being connected to the house, and him going home, and then that mask connection? Would you rather have had that and that a little bit more explained? Not even explained, not like Rob Zombie's Halloween, just a little bit more detail attached to it for understanding. Comment down below in the comments. But unfortunately, it's the end of the video. I want you guys to hit me up on my social media. ILIKESCARY on Instagram, ILIKESCARY_ on TikTok, Brandon on Facebook, ILIKESCARY on Twitter. And yeah, you guys right there where it says subscribe. Next to it, click join and become a member of the channel. I want you guys to watch some horror movies. Stay scary out there. I love you all. Peace. Until next time.